All right, it's still Thursday, April 9th, around 2 p.m. And I might as well keep this groove going. I just posted song number 4 called Talons, which was the Nina Simone one, to my Substack a couple hours ago. Or I just posted it, but I did it a couple hours ago. And I figured I should just keep going, see where I get to today with song 5 and possibly song 6, since I already have those done. And we're going to get weird with this one. By we, I just mean myself and all the musical voices in my head, which makes it sound insane, but that's a good thing to be when you're trying to do something like this. Yeah, like I'm sure I say plenty of uneducated, illogical stuff when I do these things, but I don't care because this is unscripted, man. I actually just scripted that last bit because I thought about it when I was taking a piss a couple minutes ago. I used to sell beer at the Philly Stadium. I used to say, "Hey, we got beer here." Like, what the fuck does that mean? We got beer. I'm one singular person. So maybe I just always had multiple personalities inside of me, waiting to get out through the creative outlet of songwriting. Because I was even doing that back then. I started working vending beer like in 2008 when the Phillies won the World Series. That was the first year I worked. And that was a cool year because I worked every single home game. So it was a good experience because that's when the Phillies really turned it up at the end. There was the Harry Kalas stuff. It was a good year, 2008. And this song, like I said, it's weird, man. I would have to say the main influence is Laurie Anderson. If you don't know Laurie Anderson, go check her out. She's pretty wild. She's been around for a while, writing really, I wouldn't even call it psychedelic, but partially it's just ambient, minimalist. And I only know a couple albums by her. So again, I'm not an expert on this to speak about her music, but it's kind of relying on the spoken word, kind of ambient feel, kind of avant-garde in a way. So she's leading the charge on this one. And I think it's cool because so far, 1, 2, 3, and 4 on this album have been very singer-songwriter, piano ballads or waltzy, bluesy songs, spiritual, serious stuff. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's the flavor of this album so far. But as you go to the second side, song number 5, which I'm going to discuss right now, I think it's cool to have like a comic relief in a way, or just to calm things down, have a little intermission between some of the more heady stuff that's coming out. So that's what this song, I think, does. And that's why I decided to include it, because I debated whether it works or not on an album like this. If you were listening to Joni Mitchell or Carole King album, and then you hear like a Laurie Anderson type of song, or who else, like a John Cale, that's the other guy listed, which I don't know his stuff at all. I couldn't name one of his songs, but I know he likes that droney stuff because I've heard stuff about him on podcasts. I just never really took the time to dive into his music. But I think he was related to the Velvet Underground, right? Let's see. I'm uneducated on this to a high degree. Yeah. And he's Welsh. John Cale, Velvet Underground. Yeah, there was a cool story about him. He was like kind of a child prodigy or something. So I think it's pretty cool. I'll try to find some music that fits the theme I'm going for, since he's kind of avant-garde stuff. But yeah, he's pretty interesting. I just recently was trying to go through this 3-part podcast about the Velvet Underground, because I even wrote an album kind of attributed to that kind of flavor, because I do like it. And so I listed John Cale as maybe one of the influences on this one, because he's kind of considered that avant-garde stuff, even though I don't know his work at all. besides, I guess, the Velvet Underground stuff. So I'm not going to pretend to be a music scholar when I really don't know an artist, but I feel like I would connect to his stuff because whenever I see the ambient drone, it reminds me of No Wave. It reminds me of that escapist type of energy that I like in healing. It's a type of healing music. I think he even studied like a long time, a year or longer, just to try to master that type of drone frequency stuff. And it's very intriguing. I'll mention the book again that I read a couple years ago. I wish I still had it because it was kind of hard to get it, but I don't have it anymore. Peter Michael Hamel, and I believe I'm saying his name right. Let me do this first before I get into the song so I don't forget this. Peter Michael Hamel, yeah, he was also an ambient musician, and he wrote a book, Through Music to the Self. I think that's what it was called, yeah. It was one of the best music books I've read. Don't ask me what it's about, but I do remember he goes into yoga and meditation and chanting and all these ancient traditions that even modern music today, even though it's so reliant on technology and artificial intelligence, it still has its roots traced back to those tribal mentalities of dancing around a fire and chanting and those types of syllables that's supposed to heal you. And there's a healing nature of music that I really do believe in. That's what I want to focus, like the good majority of anything new I create, I would like to go down that avenue, but right now I have so much stuff that I'm trying to do, so it's hard to think ahead at this point. But if you want to read a good book and you're able to find it somewhere, it's called Through Music to the Self. Through Music to the Self. How to Appreciate and Experience Anew. And it's by Peter Michael Hamel from, I don't know, the 80s maybe, or late 70s. I forget what year it came out. 1979. It's a cool book. Really, really recommend it. I haven't read any books lately. I'm kind of procrastinating on stuff, learning my Spanish, trying to just put it off till later, and reading all these books that I'm supposed to read. Right now, I'm just in this mode. I have to finish this album. I'm trying to do a little bit of Instagram, and I just signed up on TikTok. I don't know what the hell to do with these things to really get people interested in what I'm trying to do, but it's worth a shot. I found a lot of cool stuff on Instagram. It's kind of tricky when you have to go through all these people that follow you. Should I follow this person? It's a tricky thing, man, because there's so many fake people or people trying to get you in trouble. Trying to connect you with things that you're not connected to. So it's a minefield sometimes, but I said it before. The first week I was on Instagram, it was totally normal. And then I got like half naked women sending me stuff, which is cool, but I know it's all fake and just designed to fuck with people. Well, that was only one. I'm not going to make it sound like I got all these. I got one message from this one strange person who wasn't even a woman, probably. But yeah, you get weird shit on there. You got to be careful with that stuff. But the majority of Instagram's been cool. I found a lot of good artists on there. So I still recommend it, even though I've only been on it for a couple weeks. I created the account maybe a year ago, but I didn't do anything with it until maybe 2-3 weeks ago when I started really putting stuff on there. And all right, that's kind of where my head is, though, in terms of social media. I don't really know what to do with Twitter. You have to pay to get verified, and I don't feel like doing that. I don't think it's going to really help me. I'm still banned from Facebook for I have no idea why, so I can't go on Facebook. And what else? I don't know, LinkedIn, Blue Sky, I don't know what the difference is between all of these, but TikTok seems kind of difficult for me because I don't make videos. It kind of reminds me of Twitch. Like I'll go on Twitch sometimes when I have ADD and just watch reaction videos, people watching. I'm watching somebody watch videos for like 2 hours. It's kind of odd, but you know, it's the internet. What the fuck do you want from me? Anyway, so this song, it's weird. It's very eccentric and it's spoken word. And if you know Laurie Anderson stuff, that's the type of stuff I'm going for. That weird avant-garde kind of trippy stuff. And I think I heard somewhere it's like she still tours and stuff. And so look her up. She's pretty cool too. I'm not an expert in it. I only know maybe 2 of her albums that I've heard once or twice. So yeah, I would have to explore her discography too. But just like all these other bands, I want to go get into. I also listed Nico because recently, like I mentioned, I was listening to that Velvet Underground podcast. And they mentioned her and told her life story. She was pretty interesting. I'm actually going to also include a Madonna song because I heard her voice in my head when I was going through the verses because she did a spoken word track that was pretty good, Justify My Love, a long time ago. And I mentioned John Cale. Laurie Spiegel was she's still, I don't know if she still makes music, I'm not sure, but she got pretty popular. They reissued Ever Expanding Universe and maybe another album she made in the 70s or 80s. One of the pioneers of like electronic music. So I've mentioned her before. Laurie Spiegel. I'll share a song from her. And the last influence I put here was We Were Promised Jetpacks. They're kind of a rock band, but I feel like I was influenced by them when I came up with the title of this album. For some reason, I just always liked the name of their band. And I like their music a lot. They might be Scottish. We Were Promised Jetpacks. I want to say maybe they're from Scotland, but I'm not positive on that. We Were Promised Jetpacks. We Were Promised Jetpacks. Yeah, Scottish indie rock band from Edinburgh. Is that how you say that? Formed in 2003. Really good rock band, good production, and I would recommend them. I put one of their albums on my favorite 501 album list. And what was it called? I forget now. In the Pit of the Stomach? Was that it? Yeah, We Were Promised Jetpacks, In the Pit of the Stomach. It's a cool album cover too. It was released October 2011. So I'll link a song, share a song from that album because I do enjoy that still. I said it before, I think Scotland has this crazy connection with me for some reason, musically and also in terms of the screenwriting. I wrote maybe 1 or 2 horror screenplays that were kind of based on Scottish lore, which I really had no idea about, but I started researching it maybe 3 or 4 years ago when I was writing my screenplays. So yeah, if I could go anywhere in the world to visit, it would probably be Scotland because I feel like there's such a cool history there. And I don't know, it's just a weird part of the world that it seems like you're going into Game of Thrones land. Like you're gonna come across people in like riding on horses like knights and shit. Because there are like all those castle ruins and shit like that. So yeah, if I could go anywhere in the world to visit, it'd probably be Scotland. Maybe just like all the UK and stuff like that would be pretty cool. But all right, let me get to the verses here. And you're gonna have to picture the ambient nature of this. If you don't know Laurie Anderson stuff, it might be hard to kind of get a grasp on what I'm going for, but she's the main influence on this. For some reason, last night she just popped in my head and I started writing this pretty quickly. The lyrics aren't anything special right now, but I don't think they're terrible. And the title of this song kind of explains it. It's very odd. Some people might not like the direction of this because this is a throwback album. I finally kind of made that declaration internally and now out loud. This is a throwback album to that 70s singer-songwriter era, which still exists. People still get inspired by that stuff. There's plenty of examples of that I'm not well versed in the modern side of it, but this song kind of breaks from that. Like I said, it's the outlier of this whole thing, because I don't think this would have existed on a singer-songwriter album. But even that Todd Rundgren, I shared one of his songs on the last post called The Healer Part 2, and that surprised me. It was like an ambient thing. So I don't see why you can't put an experimental song like this in the middle of a singer-songwriter album. That's kind of a throwback to that. Even Elton John got weird with stuff, didn't he? Plenty of people. Billy Joel did his own classical music. Not that that's weird, but you want to step outside your usual commercial identity. So I guess that is the justification for this. I have to prove this to the imaginary people that listen to these things. But all right, let me get to how the song goes. So it's really peaceful kind of atmosphere. Almost like that. People probably remember Enya. If you don't know ambient music, you can just picture that Enya type of atmosphere, that soundscape that's just so peaceful that you just zone out within. So it's probably synthesizers and maybe some, well, I would say strings, but that could be made artificially. I don't really mind if this song goes artificial because it fits the theme of this. The title of this song, which I probably should have said in the beginning, is Carole King is my ChatGPT. Why did I title it that? I heard yesterday in another podcast. I'm all podcasted up right now. I'm not listening to a lot of music. Spotify's kind of annoying when you don't pay for it. You can only they give you 6 songs a day and then you can't control what you want to listen to after that. So Spotify got really weird. But I just kind of go for Bandcamp if I want music, or I'll just listen to podcasts, which I'm doing right now. It's just a better way to focus my attention on writing is when I listen to podcasts. So it's been helpful. I'm into a Hamilton Morris one now. He's got some interesting stuff. And so I call this Carole King is my ChatGPT because one of the podcasts I listened to recently, they were maybe it was Joe Rogan, that a lot of songwriters use ChatGPT to perfect their lines or melodies or lyrics. I don't really know how it works because I've never tried it. I've used Google just to ask Google questions, but I've never really used artificial intelligence to help me write anything or form a song, give me ideas. Yeah, I've done random name generators when I can't think of a song name or an album name. Sometimes I'll do something like that if I'm going to be completely honest about stuff. But that's just to kind of get my brain thinking about word combinations. I don't think I've ever directly used anything that artificial intelligence or a Google search presented to me this is recommended for your type of genre. I don't believe in doing stuff like that. It defeats the purpose of creativity if you're relying on a artificial brain to that degree. You could use it as an assistant, definitely. I use synonyms, antonyms, thesaurus. But that's just people back in the day before computers. They had books with that stuff. So I don't feel like that's stealing or cheating. When I do my visual art stuff, which it's all digital, I'll use artificial intelligence to help me edit and make it look better. But to be honest, I'm looking at my phone, so I don't know how it looks on a big screen. I'm just going by how it looks on my phone, but it doesn't mean it's going to look great on a big screen or something. The resolution might be bad. So it's a difficult process, or not difficult, but it's hard. It can make you turn into a neurotic pumpkin or mushroom head if you let it affect you like that. That's why, and I'll mention this again, that I made that realization. I'm a hit and run artist, a hit and run artist. Basically, I just mean that whenever I have a project I'm working on, I want to get it done as quickly as possible without any bullshit and put it out there to the world. It's not like I'm making these songs right now in terms of commercially producing them, but to put the song blueprint out there. I just want to do this and then be done with it and move on to something else. Do that, move on to something else. That's just how my brain works. Maybe I have kind of a hyperactive, manic type of personality. I don't know. But maybe I need to do edibles to calm myself down and just kind of let these things sink in. But I think I work better like this, to be honest, because before I would just zone out, and like way before, I'm saying like in my 20s and 30s, and I would get distracted by bullshit. You know, go down to Atlantic City, gamble. I would go drinking or just go jerk off to some porno. Now I'm just kind of just focusing on this and nothing else, which could be problematic too. I should be doing other stuff to counter the work balance and all that shit. But at this point, I need to do this all as quickly as possible because there's just so much stuff I want to accomplish. So that's how I kind of justify it to myself. Not that I really have to anymore. Like, I've been doing this for the last 5, 6, 7 years, which in reality is more like 20 years if you really look at the full scope of the hours I put into creating songs and music and art and everything else. But that's why I call myself a hit and run artist. I don't want to get tied down with like, oh, I don't know if this song's good. Oh, maybe it needs this. It needs a bridge. It needs this. That could be figured out later. And if I collaborate with other people, whatever, I'm not going to be like stubborn about stuff like that. But I want to share stuff as soon as it escapes from my headspace. As soon as it is birthed, I want to get it out there as soon as possible. So that's all I mean by that. And the good thing, I don't think that'll ever end the way I feel like that artistic philosophy, because there's so many different worldviews and other artists with way more complex philosophical paths. And I'm always going to have something else to explore. Like I went to see Alton Gunn maybe 2018 or so at Kung Fu Necktie in Philly. And then I got obsessed with like Turkish Anatolian rock. So there's going to be other stuff. Indian music, I had my really in-depth look at that, and I still enjoy it. I just don't really listen to it right now. But there's the whole Middle Eastern type of music, I don't know. I got no idea a lot of Eastern music in general. I don't have an education on it in terms of the theory and stuff that people listen to. So, you know, as long as I'm willing to explore these things, there's always going to be something, and I'll never have enough time to explore everything I want to. Just like I said about John Cale and other stuff that I haven't given the time to, enough time to, even Laurie Anderson, who inspired this. All right, enough rambling. I'm probably like 20 minutes in now. Yeah, wait, I'm 25 minutes in already. All right, so let me get to the song now. Safety in fallen, ever evolving, system in shambles, but it's designed to be broken. So don't let it break you. Yeah, some of those lines don't really fit. System in shambles, designed to be broken. So don't let it break you. So don't let it break you. I don't know. I have to work on some of these. You would think that spoken word is easier than singing a vocal melody, but to get it to sound natural, it is kind of a science. And that's actually the Laurie Anderson album I know. What was it called? Big Science or something like that? Laurie Anderson. That's the one album I've listened to with like the Superman song, I think. Yeah, Big Science. That was the album I've heard that I really like. Awesome album cover is pretty good. It's from 1982, Big Science. So, safety in fallen, ever evolving system in shambles, designed to be broken. So don't let it break you. Then it goes into a pre-chorus. Like, I could try to mimic some music here, but it's just going to be that ambient flavor that would have to come from electronic instruments or some kind of a field recording, or however I want to approach something like this. So the pre-chorus gets a little bit more musical than just spoken word. It's just the tech inside, the coded pride, just the tech inside, overloaded spine. And I hear an echo on all those things. After every line, I would hear like an echo coming. It's just the tech inside, just the tech. So you could get trippy with this. Like, there is an experimental type of improvised approach, and I think that's what John Cale liked. I don't want to misquote the guy. I think that's what he kind of believed in, John Cale. He was a big proponent of improvisation. But again, I'm not going to pretend I know anything about this shit. Improvisation. How do you spell that? Help me, Google. John Cale, a pioneer of avant-garde rock, has utilized improvisation throughout his career. Yeah, like, even if you just listen to Velvet Underground, they kind of relied on that too, pretty much. But I feel like I would really like that guy's stuff because I love drone music. That's like my favorite type of no wave or ambient stuff. So it's just the tech inside, the coded pride, just the tech inside, side, overloaded spine. All right, hold on one second. I kind of have to refresh my memory of how the chorus goes. All right. Well, it's actually pretty simple. The chorus is just Carole King, like my chat GPT. Carole King, like my chat GPT. And I hear like background choir, kind of like the angelic, ah, Carole King, like my chat GPT. It's almost like Cake, you know that band Cake? Yeah, I've spoken about them before. I've tried to conjure their type of style before, because he's got a cool spoken word delivery. That's what I'm going for. I'm really being wordy in this one, so apologies. But I'm going for that spoken word, like Cake and other bands like that I've mentioned before, because it just fits me. It fits, not saying I would be the one to do this song, but I enjoy thinking about writing songs like this. I really, really do enjoy it, maybe more than anything. Even when I do punk songs, I'm thinking in terms of a more of a spoken word delivery. So that's basically the chorus, just very simple, very relaxed. There's not many tempo changes or anything. Carole King, like my chat GPT. Carole King, like my chat GPT. Basically, just meaning that, like other people use artificial intelligence to try to gain some edge or gain some inspiration. I'm kind of using Carole King's style and her discography to kind of guide me on this because she does have a unique voice. Like I'm always mentioning her songwriting, but her voice is also kind of unique and different than other people in the 70s, other types. Even like some people just have unique voices, like the Joni Mitchell voice or the Nina Simone voice and stuff like that. That's probably why it's memorable, and that's why these people are popping up in my head. All right, this is verse 2. Hit and run artist, inspired then reborn, drunk on the reception, critically deformed, so don't wave your weirdness. It's just the tech inside, the coded pride, just the tech inside, overloaded spine. After that, I feel like there would be some kind of a synthesizer solo or something reliant on technology because that's what this song's about. It's like, if I really wanted to get crazy with the concept of this album, it would be just that. Half of the album would be using the old, not to say old, I don't want to say old, but the singer-songwriter generation from the 70s. You could use that as a use that as a guide, running out of vocabulary words, to lead you down your artistic path, your conceptual path that I'm also doing right now myself. Or people use ChatGPT. But right now I'm using the Carole King approach. Because people in the 70s didn't have that luxury. I've said it before, like the story that people had to listen to records, and if you liked the song, you would have to just constantly just move the needle back to the position you want to hear. So it was a different reality. If you want to learn a solo, you can't go on Google, be like, how do you play November Rain solo and get the tablature for free? That stuff wasn't there. You just had to do it by ear or learn some tricks. I don't know. So I'm not going to complain about any kind of inspiration I get, whether it's from an album I listen to or if it's from some artificial thing. I won't even complain about that. I don't know any example where I got inspired by some artificial intelligence. I can't really say for sure because sometimes it's kind of hard to distinguish, right? Like, I don't know. How do I know if an ambient record wasn't made by some computer? How do I know if it was a human brain doing it? I don't know for sure. Unless I can watch the person on YouTube performing a song live, and then you know for sure. But even that could be some deep fake video. So it's all fucking weird, man. And that's kind of where this song is coming from. It's not really meant to be that serious as I'm saying it, but I think that's where, when I have these talks, I kind of get out what the song might be about. Now, when I do the outro, after that, you go to the chorus the second time, and then you have some little instrumental. When I do the outro, I would like to have some kind of robotic effect on the voice to really just put that theme in the listener's face, in their eardrums. That this is what this song is meant to be. If Carole King was writing songs in the 70s and she had all the technology of today, how would her music have been different? Or even Laurie Anderson was doing that stuff in the 80s, so I don't know. I guess you could get weird with it, even the krautrock stuff. People were getting weird with stuff in the 60s, late 60s. So I guess even back then you could find a way to do it without technology. The human creative brain was still able to make crazy noise without artificial effects. So it's this isn't a statement against technology that it's so bad that anyone could just make a song in their bedroom. I'm not that person. I think it's cool like that. It's way better. It gives people opportunities. So I'm not using this song as a way to criticize people who use auto-tune or some kind of drum machine or programming to create artificial music like that. I just think people get mad if you try to deceive. Just be honest about it. Like, I don't know. The coolest thing I'm just thinking out loud, like, what if somebody did that? And it's a cool idea for like a short film or something. Somebody creates an album that's globally loved, and people think it's this mysterious musician created this album, but in truth, it was really just some computer that made all the songs and performed everything. And what if that album goes on to win like a Grammy Award and they just fool everyone, and then the person goes up to accept the award and says, "Ah, you stupid, you stupid petty humans. All this music was made by computers. Bow down to your technological overlords." That would be pretty cool. I think I would enjoy that actually. If somebody could actually fool the system and be like, "Yeah, this was not humanly created. It was all computers, you idiots." But I don't know if that's really possible, because to win a Grammy, you have to be in that industry, and actually, you can't really fool people to that crazy degree. All right, let me hit the outro of this song before I get to like an hour. And so the outro is also spoken word, but maybe you get a little bit more aggressive, more of that Laurie Spiegel type of electronic distortion, synthesizer stuff. And I would want the robot effects on the voice just to highlight everything I'm talking about right now. Memorize the reasons why the imagination won't survive. Imagine God, imagine the flight, imagine the war, the empire's advice, imagine the call, imagine the blood, imagine the sting, keep it disguised. It's just the tech inside. It's just the tech inside. That might be the main hook, actually. It's just the tech inside. It's just the tech inside. Because what's a brain? How is a human brain different than a computer brain? Really, if you think about it, how can you really differentiate? You could look at a human body as a type of artificial intelligence. I know people way more intelligent have brought up points like that. The way the human brain works, it's the way people interpret consciousness, or they can't understand what consciousness is. There's a word for that where you kind of, it's not megalomania where you think you're the center of the universe, but it's almost like that whole time is relative type of philosophy where how do you know that your consciousness is the same as somebody else's consciousness, or you're living in someone else's dream? That type of approach to existence, which is way out there, but the point of it is that nobody really knows for sure what consciousness is and how to explain simple things like that. What's controlling the words coming out of my mouth right now? What's controlling where my thoughts are coming from? Is it life experience, the way nature? There's so many weird things when it comes to thinking of that, and that's why I enjoy creating stuff like this because it's good to get it out like this without being overly dystopian about it, because it doesn't have to be dystopian. Every, well, almost every science fiction movie about artificial intelligence and shit presents that world where human beings are all depressed and lackluster and have no life left in them, no creativity, no freedom, no imagination left. A lot of those type of dystopian tales present a world like that, but I don't think it has to be like that. Like, it's just, what do human beings do when a lot of the jobs go away in 100 years and 200 years? You just find ways to exist. I don't know. People did it before all these jobs existed. So it's weird. It's really just your individual ability to survive the bullshit that people try to put in your face sometimes. And that could come from the real world or from the digital world of social media and all that other shit. But this is a theme I return to a lot. It's also because I listen to too many podcasts about this shit, and I just repeat what other people say, which basically that's what I'm talking about. Would I be writing songs like this without other people putting their points of view in? Like, I feel like I have to join in on this conversation for some reason constantly. It's very odd. But that's basically where my head is for a song like this. I think it could really develop into a good outlier for this album, since it is a lot of piano-based sentimental stuff that doesn't have to be overly dramatic, but it's probably going to come across like that if you get the right voices, and there's nothing wrong with that. The last song I shared, Talons, yeah, it's definitely going to be an emotive kind of experience, but most of the songs on this album would try and tend to do that. Maybe this would be the only one that doesn't really have a automatic emotional response, because it's kind of avant-garde, and I don't even know what the time signature is in my head to kind of put this song together. It would just be an ambient song full of just textures and layers and different voices in the background. And that's exactly where I see this song going. And yeah, I'm not completely happy with the way I recited the lyrics, but that's because a song like this, I don't know what I'm really singing up against, so it's more difficult. When I did Talons, I hear the 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, talons hit the mark. I can hear the time signature, and I can picture similar songs in this vein. When it comes to avant-garde stuff, it's more improvised, and just, it could be anything really. So this is a more free type of experience, and I still would argue it fits this album because of that fact, or because of the fact that it deals with some of the issues that I mentioned throughout this long ramble. And I guess that's everything I really can discuss about this. And at least for me, it'll give me some artists to try to dig deeper into, like Laurie Anderson, John Cale, especially those two people, and Nico too, because she's got a really unique voice. I never really paid her any mind until I heard a couple of her songs today when I was looking for a song to share, and it was called One More Chance, and really kind of caught me. I had to really pause and listen to it. It was really cool. And yeah, a song like this is meant to be experimental and improvised and just lead kind of to the rest of this album. But I don't really know if the rest of this album would be in line with this one. I don't think so. I think this is just an outlier that whatever it becomes, it becomes. Because the rest of this, kind of goes back to the Carole King, Joni Mitchell, Brandy Carlisle type of feel. And I don't think there'll be any more reliance on a lot of effects, studio effects, or robotic stuff, electronic music. But it's cool. Like, just picture listening to a Motown album like Irma Thomas, like the New Orleans flavor. And then out of nowhere, you just get like a weird avant-garde piece to shock people. And I guess Stevie Wonder kind of did that. Some of his stuff was kind of experimental, but more in a funky type of way, I guess. But yeah, I guess that's all for this. I'm talking nonsense now. But the next song kind of goes back to like I said, the 70s singer-songwriter. And if I feel like it, I'll try to do it later today. And after that, I'll try to finish it up tomorrow if I can. There's 2 more songs that I kind of started writing, but not really. So I got to write lyrics for 2 more songs. And I don't think there'll be more than 8 songs. I was trying to compare this album to Tapestry, and Tapestry has 12 songs, I think. But I don't think I'll get to that, because I never really do 12 songs on an album. How many songs on Tapestry? How many dongs? Don't type that in. How many songs on Tapestry? I think it's 12. Yeah, 12 songs. And it's like 40 some minutes. I feel like I could, as long as I get to 30, 35 minutes, I'm happy. And I feel like some of these songs would be like 5 minutes long, so I'd probably be right around that 38-minute sweet spot. That I like to call it that. When an album gets over 45 minutes, it just becomes bloated, like I'm doing right now. Where, like, there's examples of the opposite, but maybe it's just people's attention spans are less today. That you listen to an album and you'll be like, by the 30-minute mark, you want to listen to something else. I think that's maybe just a kind of a disease that a lot of people have today, the ADD brain, because of social media and because of stuff like that. It's like a reprogramming almost of how your attention works in the world today. And it's not just social media, it's cable news. Watch cable news for 10 minutes and you just want to like jump out a window because it's just so stupid. And social media could have that effect too, but I'm more addicted to that side of it. Social media, because I want to connect with people that have a similar vision as I do, or could collaborate ideally one day. I do want to find that some kind of a community of artists and other people like that. That would be the ideal way to utilize social media. That's what I'm using it for. I'm trying my best at least, but it's not an easy thing to do because there's millions of other people trying to do the same thing. Just like anything else, screenplay writing, visual arts, the same type of animal. There's a competitive nature to it. There's all these other politics involved that is very unattractive to me. And I think to most people, really, it's unattractive the way politics is today. But that's all. Let me finish this. And hopefully you can at least go listen to Laurie Anderson. You'll understand what I'm talking about if you don't know her at all, or if you just know her a little like I do. And all right, that's all for now.